I love Wizard101. I really do. I know you see a lot of people do. My favorite character? Storm of all time. Now, I've been playing Storm for a good old 11 years from now, almost a dozen years. But does that mean it's still good? Well, there's some spells that are ridiculous, such as Insane Bolt, Healing Current, or some other spells. But who knows? Today I'm going to be ranking every single spell that is permanent. So things such as, for example, anything in the bottom will not count, such as Queen Calypso down there or Storm Brandon. None of those will count. Nothing from Jewels will count either. It has to be a permanent spell you can actually attain for yourself. So today, I'm also be doing a novice deck as an example, and within a world that's alone. So with that, let's get ranking to the Storm spells. 45, Insane Bolt. Do I even have to say anything? Insane Bolt is one of the weirdest spells out there to even have. You do either 1,000 damage to the enemy, or you just take the risk of killing yourself. With this, for example, I just killed myself in battle, which I would never think I would. Therefore, I lost the battle. So why in the world would you even have a spell that kills yourself? Even why take the risk? 44, Healing Current. Really? I didn't know we were becoming life people now. Healing Current either heals you from either 100, 400, or 1,000 damage healed up. But here's the question. When does Storm ever heal? They're meant to be hitters, not healers. It's one of the stupider ones to battle with. Really just makes you waste 3 pips for no reason. Therefore, you just lose. 43, Soothe. It reduces threat on target. So, yeah, it will not hit you if you reduce the threat. But, like, if you're a lower level character, maybe, but just a waste of just a 2-pip spell is just ridiculous. I mean, yeah, you reduce the threat, but really does nothing overall. And what's worse is just that you just waste 2 pips for no reason. Like this ghoul. He still attacks me even though I reduced threat on it. 42, Mega Soothe. What's the difference between Soothe and Mega Soothe? Mega Soothe, you can take up all your pips, just reduce threat on it. Reduce threat on the enemy. Really, there's no difference about this. The only difference this makes it better is just that, hey, you use more pips, it reduces the threat on it. But still, it's a greater risk of losing your pips. So, hey, if you really think you're screwed, I guess you can try doing that as a last resort, but that's really it. 41, Storm Spear. Okay, so this is more into the modern spells we were getting recently. Storm Spear only gives you plus 10% pierce to Storm. So really nothing really useful in battle. It can't even be powered up even by the sharpened blade. Even though it's more or less like a spear, it should be counted towards that. But overall, it's a decently okay thing. It's just a waste of time though. Like overall, hey, if I want to pierce something, I might as well just do it myself and just build myself up for it. 40, Water Elemental. It's a storm minion, decently okay. The only problem is with this Water Elemental is that you have to summon it with 3 pips, only to become a supporter. Like, I don't remember the last time it does attack. It only heals you for all I remember. And look at that, it just did taunts. Really useful. Starts with 3 pips and it decides to taunt. 39, Sap Power. What's better than having a minion? You could just kill it just to get yourself 4 pips. Like, okay, it's like, okay, well, I don't really need you anymore, so I'm gonna just kill you. Just for my own glory of pips. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's actually really good of a spell. If you really need, like, Meteor Strike, Tempest, Blizzard, whatever you need, that'll help you actually really good to kill battles. So, there you go. You waste 3 pips just to get 1 pip back and just get all your pips overall. Recycling. 38, Wild Bolt, the attacking version of Healing Current. Instead of doing 100, 400, or 1,000, it's 10, 100, or 1,000 of damage. The reason why it's so low, and why we're in the attacking stage of it so low, is because it's an RNG chance of getting either a good 1,000 or just getting a crappy 10. As you can tell in this, I got critical. Let's see how much I do. 200. So that's basically, could be either a 10 or a 100, but I believe it was a 10. Still, not really a good RNG-based type of game. 37, Thundersnake. What's so bad about this one? Well, it is a beginning spell. The only problem is it only has 70 accuracy. I can bet you a lot of people have used Thundersnake beforehand and just had a very hard time with it. Though it's a very good high attack spell, it comes with the great cost of no accuracy. That's Storm for you people. 36, Storm Shield. Not the worst spell. Actually, this shield helps me so much often. Now, is it great in all battles? No. Have I used it often? No. Only to a certain extent. But Storm Shield only gives minus 80 to storm resistance, but that's only to one school. Unlike Tower Shield that does minus 50 to all, it only gives out only a factor of only minus 80 to one school only, therefore making it one of the more decent spells, but not the worst spells, or not the best either. 35, Lightning Strike. Now why is this one better than Storm Shield? I only used it twice. Well, if you're a beginner, which one would you use more often? A Lightning Strike, then probably Lightning Bats, or Storm Strike? Or Storm Shield that basically gives uselessness against a myth boss? Well, here's the thing about this. It gives you plus 10 accuracy to any spell you do next that's storm related. Which, you know, I've probably used that a couple times in battle, especially since I'm using Storm Strike. What can I say? It still is one of the best ways to begin in a game. Though it's not good now because I have very good accuracy. 34, Cleanse Charm. The thing that gave us the reason why we hate Efreet. So Cleanse Charm gives rid of one weakness off us. Though it's only 0 pips, it's still really not useful because most bosses don't even use it. Unless, of course, you fight violence minions or bosses with Raw, then yes, it's still pretty useful. But to anything else, not even in Efreet, well, Efreet, yes, but still, not really used often. You might as well just use a 0 pip just to knock it off, you know? 33, Disarm. Sorry if they're not using blades to use as an example, but basically it just removes one blade off them. Now, let's be honest though. Disarm's only good just for basically if you have like 120 superpower charge. But other than that, you know, you're better off just saving your pip for something more important in the future. 32, Enfeeble. Enfeeble is just the upgraded version of the Disarm. Basically, instead of just one, it removes all positives off an enemy. So basically, if you have like a lot of blades on them, good luck. Just use 3 pips, boom, they're all gone. It's like they built up for nothing. I think this is probably a good spell, but is it the best? Well, no, because if you're a Storm like me, you just go for the main attack. You don't want to waste time. But of course, in PvP, you do want to use that more often. Especially those who like to stack up and try to become the boss of everything. 31, Storm Prism. I wish I had this against Kraken back in Trident Avenue, but I didn't. Storm Prism basically just transfers storm attacks into myth attacks. So really, it's one of the best spells to this day still. Against a boss or minion that's Storm. So hey, it's still pretty good. I don't say it's useless. But the issue I have is that it wastes a whole turn just for that. And plus, it's like a trap. So if a boss has a trap cheat, good luck, because you're not going to be able to attack them unless you have friends. They're a myth. Thanks, guys. 30. Mass Storm Prism. The upgraded prism that becomes, instead of just one enemy, it becomes to all enemies. But the only problem I have is that it costs 2 pips. So basically a whole power pip for all enemies. I say it's worth it. Gives you a round of turns, but like same thing as before. If a boss hits a cheat where you can't put traps on it, you're screwed. Basically get some friends. Again, thanks guys. 29, Storm Trap. The OG trap that we once had back in Wizard City. Storm Trap is to this day, still one of the best ways to put extra damage on enemies. Yes, like I said before with the prisms and everything, if they have a trap cheat, they get rid of it, then good luck doing it. But it's not something I would use. I'm more of a blader than a trapper. Because honestly, traps are just not that good anymore to this day. 28, Windstorm. Now, this is just a downgraded version of Storm Trap, but it does it to all enemies. For 1 pip, you can do plus 20 Storm Trap damage to all enemies. Not only that, but hey, if you ever got something like Tempest or Stormlord ready, you might as well take that extra bait while you still can. 28, Windstorm. The OG power-up that gives us more than buff. It gives us plus 25 around the ring. And the only way to get rid of it is to have another ring involved. Though we don't need it, because hey, we're Storm. But it gives us a bigger boost when we hit. More than what we can imagine. What can I say, man? It's just the wind that kicks the butt. 26, Astrophobia. Now, this is just a little bit better than Darkstorm. If you don't want to be big buffy like I wanted to be, well, you have a chance. You get Pierce plus 20, and you can crit more chance. Which, okay, it seems like it's better. But to think about it, if you're fighting against a Storm boss, or anything that resists Storm, you're able to do that with the 20% Pierce. And it can take more damage from it, without any issues. So overall, hey, I'll take this. It gives them a big scare. Plus, when that happens, you get that little scene. I actually don't know what they call it. 25, Dissipate. So what's the good about Dissipate better than Storm Shield? Well, the next Storm spell they use, no matter what pips they have, even if it's 0 unfortunately, they cannot. They automatically fizzle. So what's great about it is that, yes, you waste a pip for it, but when they attack with a Storm attack, or if they're even using a Blade, which sometimes that happens, believe me, I've seen it, they lose all their pips, unless it's 0 pip, of course. Even so, it makes it more interesting for the game. 24, Stormblade. I know I'm in a different area, but still. Stormblade, my favorite spell of all time. Now, what's so great about the Stormblade, is that you get extra damage, kind of like how you do with Darkwind or with Stormtrap, but it's just more power. Now, the reason it's so low, because obviously, well, it just gives us a blade, so just like a power-up boost. Nothing really technique about it, or unique, it's just an extra buff. Not the best spell out there, you know? 23, Supercharge. Seems like a downgraded version of Stormblade, but if you have 7 power pips altogether, it goes up to a total of 140% of a Stormblade. But no, I know mine's 40, but you know, as an example, this just proves that I can use multiple Supercharges just to get myself a very, very powerful attack in that could possibly even kill the Storm Titan if I really wanted to. Now, obviously that won't happen, but still, kind of unique if you think about it. 22, Lightning Blast. Now we're getting to that phase where it's basically going to be all attacks from here on out. So same reason as Thunder Snake, Lightning Blast is just an upgraded 2-pip version with still pretty bad accuracy. Still very good at attacks, that can almost one-shot almost anything in this field, but it doesn't mean the accuracy was good. You better hope you have a good chance for it, because who knows what happens next. 21, Storm Shark. Yep, same reason, just another Thunder Snake, but 3 pips instead. 70 accuracy, good luck hitting them if you can. Now, here's the thing about Storm Shark. It is one of the most powerful attacks out there that can chomp almost anything in Wizard City for the most part. I know it lagged, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. But as you can see, Storm Shark did pretty much good damage by itself. Now, is it the best spell out there? No, there's definitely a lot more than that. 20, Hammer of Thor. Now, normally I wasn't going to add this sucker into this list, but technically now you can craft it, so now it's a permanent spell. Back then it used to be a case of you had to get it from a pack, but now since it came out as a crafting spell, there is no need to worry about it anymore. Now, what's so bad about it? Well, there's a lot of things that are pretty bad about it. Is that Hammer of Thor is not the promising we get out of it. All you do is summon attack, and then you just remove 1 blade. Like, even Enfeeble is a little bit better, but even so, it doesn't attack. So, good job. You just give yourself a quick attack. 19, Moko Bull. Now, this is a Safaria level 75 spell. It's the upgraded version of Water Elemental. Unlike its natural stats, Moko Bull will actually attack whenever it can, because that's what a storm does. Thank you very much. Now, if you want to try to use your sap power just to get rid of its 4 pips, I really wouldn't, because 4 pips is not worth how well he does attack. He is a very good distraction within Safaria, Avalon, and possibly Azteca. No promises on that. Even so, look at this as an example. He actually attacks. So there you go. That proves that Mokopo is actually a lot better than Water Elemental. Confirmed. 18, Queen Calypso. Now, why is she better than Hammer Thor? One reason. One reason alone is that she puts down a trap first, then hits. Yeah, despite its long animation, it's still a pretty good spell. If you want to try and do like a big busted attack, well, there you go. You just put down a Storm Trap, Storm Blades, whatever you need to do. She does her little animation thing, but she puts down a trap first before attacking, therefore making an extra big damage to it. So overall, good luck to the bosses who actually want to try to survive Queen Calypso's wrath, because she ain't playing like a little storm. 17, Kraken. Now, this one's only good naturally just because it's a 4-pip Thunder Snake, but with higher damage. Now, what's cool about this is that he can get lightning bolts from his hand and literally just smack it down an opponent. That's impressive, I must say. It's one of the best 4-pip spells still out there to this day. Number 16, Stormzilla. When I got this at first, at level 42, I was set to destroy some things. Yeah, once again, another 5 pips Thunder Snake thing, but it can mass destroy minions, even at 700. Like, I was first intense with this spell, though I had to be patient. It was still pretty cool to use it, still, to this day. 15, Thermic Shield. Yes, new area again. Well, you know. What's so great about Thermic Shield, better than Storm Shield? Instead of just one shield, it's 2 shields of ice and fire. So if you're fighting against a fire boss, or an ice boss, or both, hey, congrats, you have a shield. Like this, for example. That actually, hey, I resisted 0 too. Well, you know. See, I wouldn't have resisted 0 if I didn't do that. Way to go, shields. 14, Triton. Yes, again, 6 pip. Yeah. I get it. 6 pip Thunder Snake. But instead, it's like, hey, when you hit 48, congrats, you just got yourself basically a better storm spell that isn't such madness. Instead, you get yourself a powerful Triton. Oh, I'm sorry, not 48, 38. At 38, you get yourself a powerful Triton, and you just smack it down, and boom, you win. That's it, you know? Congrats, you just won the battle against even a single boss. That's basically it. Triton just better than Stormzilla. Number 13, Sirens. This does not deserve to be up on a list this high. The only exception it has for this spell was the fact that it's minus 40 accuracy. But at this point, it used to have 2 blades, then minus 55 accuracy. But they got rid of that. Great times, guys. Great times. So the only good thing, like I said, it's just because of the minus 40 accuracy. That saves you the trouble. That can spare you some time. Basically, that's it. Wasted 9 pips. You should have done something else. Number 12, Leviathan. Now, this spell was going to be originally remove 1 blade, but it looks like it's still back to still 2 blades. What's so great about this spell is that, hey, powerful attack. Hey, you got 2 powerful pips or blades? No problem. I'm going to knock them off. Easy as that. Problem is, high pips. Still not good enough for me. Though, it's still pretty good. Even when it dropped its attack to 975, it's still not a bad spell. It's pretty decent to this day. Number 11, King Artorias. Now, this does not deserve to be as high as it once was anymore, only because you do a high attack and you only get Storm Spear. Like, that's really it. Though, it's only good for attacking. The Storm Spear really wasn't worth it, because you're better off just doing something else that actually means something for its worth. Number 10, Storm Owl. Again, this shouldn't be this high up, but at the same time, it is a pretty powerful attack for someone who has 10 pips. Now, what's so great about it is that it's just pure power. Nothing was really good about Storm Owl from the entire base from it. Nothing really gives power, nothing gives boost, nothing really, just, you know, raw hit. That's basically it for something this powerful. Number 9, Iron Sultan. When I first got this spell, I thought it would be amazing to do a multi-hit. But when you can divide your power to each enemy, it gets weaker. But what's good about this spell is that you can just do a single hit or 2 hit on minions. You don't have to hit the boss. The only problem is that you split your damage to the enemies, which makes it weaker each time. Not really the greatest spell, but still a pretty decent spell if you're trying to hit 2 enemies, while someone else decides to hit the big enemy. Who knows? Number 8, Reluska's Wrath. Now, I really don't like this spell, but it has its points. It has its proof of willing still. Instead of just like Storm Owl, where you just do raw power, you do raw power plus a chance for a Storm Blade. What happens if you don't get a Storm Blade? You get a minus 30 weakness of a Storm attack. Which, that means you gotta take your chance with a big hit, and hopefully, to God, you get yourself a Blade at the end. Really, that's all there is to it. Besides, the Green Eyes really does fit well for something that wants to kill you, to kill an enemy. There you go. And there's my Blade. Hey, good chance, guys. 7, Glowbug Squall. Now, this was originally going to be higher than what it was before, but unfortunately, since they buffed it to only being a mere multi-attack, it gotten really worse. I could use better spells than just Glowbug Squall. Originally, it had 1,120 and gets rid of all blades from all enemies, which made it really great against Shane Von Shane. But nowadays, it's just pointless. Uselessness. 6, Catch of the Day. What do you do when you get a Kraken and a Shark together? Well, let me tell you this. It's better spell than Glowbug. Even though it's a one hit only, it still does a pretty good amount of damage. So basically, instead of just a regular Kraken doing its normal attack, like it would usually, you would get a Shark that jumps up, smacks its little face with his tail. The dragon throws it, bang. Even if it doesn't kill, it gets rid of 2 blades from an enemy. That's why I call it good. Number 5, Catalan. What makes this one better than Catch of the Day? Really? They can go vice versa. But really, Catalan is just a better, bigger attack than Catch of the Day. But instead of removing 2 blades like Catch of the Day does, Catalan does a minus 25 accuracy. Meaning, so instead of just, hey, I'm going to just use raw power and remove blades, I'm going to give raw power and screw you over with a minus 25. Hope to God that you fizzle. Well, really, I think it's a pretty cool spell at the same time, because it's a freaking dragon that just shoots electric lightning at the enemies. I mean, hey, fire dragon, electric dragon, frost dragon, take your pick. Come on now. I would choose the electric dragon. Number 4, Siren of Storm. Probably one of the coolest spells out that came out in Period Part 2. Yeah, it's not a shell spell like people wanted it to be, but what's cool about Siren of Storm makes it better than most other trees out there. So in order to get this spell to work, you summon torrents, you gotta make sure the enemy has no blades, and your damage does 2 times effective to it. So instead of regular 1400 damage, you get a giant tornado that comes out of nowhere, and boom, or basically a hurricane too if you want to consider it too. And it just does better damage. Look at that. Look at that damage. It just makes it amazing. That's why Siren of Storm is probably one of the best spells out there, who got themselves a pretty good boost out of it. Number 3, Sound of Musology. When I first heard this was coming out, hey, I thought we were not going to get a good storm spell, but I was wrong. What happens is that you do multi-damage, and if you critical on the damage exactly, you can get yourself a Stormblade, which is way better than Veluska's Wrath, because instead of just taking luck base, you can just do a critical, like how I did, and just get yourself a free blade at the end, and just guaranteed for sure you can, without any problems, or without consequence. Very good multi-spell. Number 2, Stormlord. So really the top 3 really can be depending to some people in their opinions. To me, I think Stormlord's a little bit better than Sounds of Musology, because if you're fighting minions that are like maybe 10,000 per se, like once I've dealt with that, believe me, it sucks. You're able to use Stormlord, hit multiple enemies, and you can stun them, which is something we've never really had that much of. So instead of just like, hey, a minus accuracy removing blades, you stun your enemies. Like I said though, it can go vice versa, whether it Sounds of Musology better than Stormlord, or Stormlord being better than Sounds of Musology. Finally, at number 1, we got the OG spell, Tempest. What seems to be weak spell at first seems like a joke, especially with 80 per pip. But what if you do 7 power pips overall? So that's 14 pips, basically. From an OG spell, no power-ups, no bullcrap minus accuracy, no blades. Let's see how much damage this does. That being said, sure, it's not the greatest spell out there, but you know what? It's a quick, easy kill for killing all minions, some bosses. Even so, just to, give them distraction so at least they hit you and not anyone else. That's just what I call the best spell in the game. Whew, that was fun. Really, it was. I really did not expect me to go something so far like this. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. Thank you for understanding my opinions. Some opinions may not be liked by some others, but hey, hopefully you guys understand why I chose this path. Of course, though, there's some things I could say I still love, such as the Stormblade and, Stormlord or Catch of the Day. But it doesn't mean that some others may agree with me. Some others think it'll be weak or bad. But you know what? This is my first time doing this, and I think I did pretty good. Hopefully next time I'll do a fire, maybe a fire or an ice episode. But I'll have to get all the cards or spells for them. Hope to see you all real soon. Goodbye for now, everyone.